Welcome to the show. I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
And here are the goods. After 2 weeks, I haven't seen you in a month.
2 weeks for you.
Well,
I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
I work.
All right. Well, we've missed some time. I've missed some time. All right. Had some stuff to do. Had to get some Jeepers Creepers business done. Mm-hmm. Don't watch that movie. But if you want to see it, it comes out on Sci-Fi on October 28th.
Why?
So, box office last week. Now, pretty expected. I knew that this movie was going to be number one. I just didn't realize how bad of a number one it was going to be. Worse than, not even worse, but as far as the hype, I wouldn't even consider it worse than Hitman's Bodyguard.
Really?
And that's Blade Runner 2049, number one with $32 million.
That for as much money and all the technical advances they had in this movie, I mean, they got. Oh God, I can't even get words together today. They got Harrison Ford to come back for this movie.
It's a beautiful movie.
They got Harrison Ford to come back for this movie. I can't believe that fans of the cult that follows Blade Runner, all the Star Wars fans, and sci-fi fans in general would not want to go out and see this film.
I think, in all honesty, I think that the runtime was part of it because it's 3 hours.
All right.
It's pretty much close to 3 hours long.
Well, the original one was long too.
Right, but like I would sit through a 3-hour Star Wars movie.
Okay.
I would not sit through 3 hours of Blade Runner
because it has a built-in fan base.
It has a built-in fan base.
And that was the $32 million that it made.
Exactly. I don't think that it's not that it doesn't have a built-in fan base, but it doesn't have a lore that people are just like invested in.
5 versions of this film. There's not a lore with this movie.
Well, one, I think you're right because it had Harrison Ford in it. Mm-hmm. It's not gonna, just because Harrison Ford in it, it's not gonna be. That's not enough to elevate this thing. On top of that, you have Ryan Gosling, who's just come off of the success of La La Land. So you would think that his star.
All those La La Land fans. Why in theaters?
Why did they just sing in this movie? Maybe everybody would have gone to see it.
If he'd have brought back jazz like he was talking about on Saturday Night Live. You didn't see that? No, I didn't. But it's a whole skit about him bringing back jazz.
They even had Jared Leto in it, and they cut all his scenes too from the Poor Jared Leto. Oh man. No plot details were given for the movie, so not everybody really understood exactly what was going on, which is probably why not everybody was excited to go and see it.
It was sci-fi. It was the future. It was flashy, shiny things. That should be good enough for people to go see. People went to go see the freaking Emoji Movie, so you can't see Blade Runner, really?
Well, I guess not. Hopefully, like you said, hopefully overseas saves it. Number 2, The Mountain Between Us with Idris and Kate Winslet. I have no idea.
How much does that movie make?
It made $10 million. Well, $11 million.
Enough to pay their salary.
That's it. Catering. All right.
That movie probably wasn't expected to make a lot of money.
No, but hey, you know what? It got a number 2, so
there you go.
Congrats there, Idris. Number 3 remains it in the top 5. It is still going strong with $10 million at number 3. And Joker,
he's still upset about Blade Runner.
You cut my scene.
Oh,
that's awful.
I mean, it's gonna hang around. I mean, we're getting closer to Halloween, so it's gonna hang around for a while. And a lot of people, surprisingly, have still not seen it. This is like when people kept saying, like, oh, I still haven't seen Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman made all this money. A bunch of people still haven't seen it, and it's made a lot of money. And I was like, I keep running to people. They were like, hey, we saw your review post online for the It. I'm gonna watch it. I was like, you haven't seen it? And they were like, no, I just want to see what you guys talk about first before I go see it. I was like,
but it was a spoiler review.
Exactly. It was like, well, first I was like, where have you been?
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate it anyway. It is, has, I can't even say this right. It. That's exactly right. The It puns. And you and Art are like ridiculous.
He wouldn't let it go.
Okay, anyway, forget it. All right. It is the top grossing horror movie of all time. We already know that. It beat The Exorcist, but it keeps getting higher and higher. 600 million. First horror movie to ever do that. First horror movie to have 300 million domestically. It's just I can't fucking wait for
We're getting the It trilogy. They're gonna do 3, they're gonna do 7, they're gonna do, I don't know, however many movies they can do of this, as long as you guys keep going to the theater, spending that money, not seeing Blade Runner and spending it on it. Number 4! Go ahead, sir.
It was My Little Pony with 9 million.
That broke my heart.
The brownies did not show up.
I didn't show up for this. I really thought I thought this movie was gonna be high. I thought it was at least gonna take like a number 2, and the brownies let me down. Brownies let me down.
Brownies let you down. There was nobody went to see that one. Kingsman. Kingsman 2 stayed in the top 5 with 8.6 million. Not too bad.
Surprisingly.
Which I hear this movie is like really over the top.
Which, Kingsman?
Yeah, I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's way more over the top than the first one because I think they were really trying to distance themselves from the James Bond comparisons. They were like, okay, well, we're not the English James Bond. Wait, hold on, that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
We're not James Bond. Yes, they're both English. I really just popped in my head at this particular moment.
Man.
It was like, we are not the millennial James Bond. We are something that's like, we take more of the gadgetry that from the original James Bond and just kind of ramp it up and just kind of tell you like this, we're gonna do the most ridiculous stuff ever, but you're gonna believe it because of the world that we already set up. So
I hope that they don't, because I know they added like the Statesman and all that, which I don't want to spoil for everybody if you haven't seen it, but you know,
Statesman's the best part of the movie.
I don't want it to turn into, you know, because they put some more high profile names. They put Halle, they put Channing, and I hope they don't go and start fast fiving this and start putting in like all these actors when they start growing and growing for the like for the third one. And build teams and
that's what's happening. Just wait till they do that It team. They're gonna.
All right, so this coming weekend is Friday the 13th weekend, and you know, we're in the month of October, so now we're gonna get our first real dose of horror in October because it is still tearing it up from September and it's leaking into October, and we got Happy Death Day.
Finally.
Groundhog's Day,
I thought
but
this
with
movie
murder.
came out like 3 months ago.
How about no? And you know, it was like Groundhog's Day, and she just dies over and over again.
Over and over again.
Or Before I Fall, the movie Before I Fall. It was the same damn thing.
When I saw the first trailer, I didn't get that from the first trailer, and I wasn't really caring about seeing this film. It's because of the groundhog element that kind of made me interested in seeing this.
I don't like the killer's mask.
Because of the baby thing?
It's a baby face.
He looks like the baby from the Looney Tunes cartoons and stuff like that.
Baby Huey and shit. Huey, whatever it is. The baby from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
There you go, that's the baby. The baby from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
But I keep getting like freaking Valentine flashbacks with the Cupid face, and I just I just can't really get into it. So I don't know. We'll see how that works.
All the good masks were taken already. So
I think
the Jason mask is already out there. The Ghostface mask is already out there. The burnt up Freddy mask is somebody's face for real.
It's PG-13, so I think the teenagers will flock to see this one.
That's gonna bring a lot of people, and then you can take younger kids to go see it. So
projected at 20 million, I think it would probably reach that. So we'll see. Next up is Jackie Chan's return as the Foreigner. That movie looks amazing.
See this film. I kept saying I want to call it Asian Taken, but it's not Asian Taken because the daughter died. Asian Taken if the daughter died.
Tajin.
It's Tajin. Tajin.
That's awful. It's so freaking awful. This is awful. Anyway,
is it asking?
I can't freaking wait. I can't wait to see this movie. You know, it's the first time that you get Pierce Brosnan with Jackie Chan. So I mean, that element right there.
Yeah, because the masses have been clamoring for that.
I'm just saying,
wait till you get that Pierce Brosnan. I'm just Jackie Chan collaboration.
You've never seen that?
Oh my God! Together on screen. Just wait. Explosions and everything. Just like it'll be movie, box office, cinema gold. As soon as they're together.
Gold. And finally, Marshall, the true story about Marshall. No, not We Are Marshall. Thurgood Marshall, played by Chadwick Boseman,
who plays everybody,
and yet another biopic. And if there's ever a movie about Thurgood Marshall, James Brown, or Jackie Robinson, that man's in trouble.
They're all for the most part, they all lived in the same era at one point in time.
They're in trouble. He's in trouble because okay. Let me get over here. Okay, come on.
Exactly.
Okay, no.
No, they do it. It was like he's standing there like. That was a good comment that you made there, Thurgood. Hey, exactly. And then just do the quick cuts and keep showing.
Dude!
In a different way.
Oh, man. Like all right, we're done. That was a box office. Well,
next topic.
So in sequel news, Creed 2, we talked about it a few shows ago, that Ivan Drago was coming back and all this Dolph Lundgren news was coming out and all this other stuff, right? Well, now it was kind of like speculation on whether or not Ryan Coogler was going to be coming back as director because he's all caught up with his commitments to Marvel and Black Panther.
Okay, that's cool.
So I guess they really thought that he was going to be able to do it, but post-production, all this other stuff, and I'm pretty sure that promoting the movie...
Yeah, because you got to go out and do
that. Yeah, you got to go out and do that. So it doesn't look like he's going to quite make it.
Probably because they told him about that Ivan Drago storyline that they're working on. He was like, I ain't coming back with that boo.
Sly Stallone will be directing Creed 2.
Though, I don't hate any of his movies. Any of his Rocky movies. I don't hate any of his Rocky movies except Rocky 5. I don't hate any of his Rocky movies, so I don't hate him coming out.
He
but
didn't do Rocky 5.
Well, okay, well, I don't hate any of his Rocky movies. So, so I'm not upset that he's gonna direct this film. I just wish they would change the plot of the. Yeah, I don't want Drago. I don't want Drago or Drago's son.
There aren't any real. There's not any real. Notice of what the plot is. So I guess they're still keeping that under wraps. But it will start shooting this February.
Okay.
Sly will write, direct, produce, and co-star with Michael B. Jordan in this sequel.
So this time, if it wins some awards, he don't have to thank nobody.
Well, it don't matter. He didn't thank anybody anyway.
Exactly. That's what it's like. So before giving him credit, giving him crap because he didn't thank anybody, he ain't got to do it this time.
Now, this is actually pretty cool if you really think about it. Now, when we first saw Creed, and you can actually go to episode 2, because when we were talking about Creed, and we made this point, when we first saw Creed, we actually saw Rocky 4 first.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw Creed 2, and it was just like perfect.
Yeah.
They just, I mean, all of the root of Rocky 4 was,
but they've done it in every Rocky movie.
No, I know, but I'm talking about how it completely it connects to Adonis. Mm-hmm. Like everything that happened connects to Adonis. Right. They even mention it in Creed about his dad dying in the ring.
Right.
Well, Sylvester Stallone directed Rocky 4.
Okay.
So him directing this is actually not that bad of an idea if you really think about it.
Because he can maintain the heart of what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Because the elements
and
of Rocky
still bring us back Drago because there is no other boxers out there to fight but the same 4 boxers.
Well, we talked about it too about Sins of the Father. So that's and then remember it's going to possibly be Godfather-ish.
You don't know, dude. If you want to have any tie to before, you could do Sins of the Father was like, hey, I'm a partier, like how Rocky wasn't. Well, he kind of did a little partying and stuff like that when he was spending his money and getting bums thrown in front of him. Do that storyline. Show me that like it goes to Adonis' head.
But he was champ though.
I know it goes to his head a little bit. It's like he starts filming. So let him be big and pompous, and he gets more of that, the confidence that his dad had on his way to a championship, and then have something happen with him after he wins the championship or coming up to that big fight again. It's like, don't give me Drago. I don't want Drago unless we're gonna CGI.
Well, he's gonna be there.
Dolph Lundgren. We're gonna CGI Dolph Lundgren. It's like we're gonna clone Dolph Lundgren. We're gonna bring him back. It was like we're gonna Universal Soldier this. We're gonna put him in some ice. They're gonna bring him back out. All his old age is gonna go away and all the old battle scars, and he's gonna get out there and he's gonna fight again. That's the only Sins of the Father where I was like, get your revenge on him. I don't want to see him fight his son, and I don't want to see him fight old decrepit Dolph Lundgren.
Okay, well, I don't even remember the boxer's name that he fought. He served his time. I probably had to relinquish the belt. Mm-hmm. So the belt's there. Is it possible that Drago's son gets it and is champ, and that's how
because he's fighting the bums in Russia?
Well, I don't know if it's in Russia or not, but I'm just saying that what if you got to remember the champ over there was from overseas also. He had the belt overseas. That's why they fought overseas. Remember that?
Yeah, no. There's in boxing. There's tons of belts.
Exactly. So who's to say that Drago's son doesn't get the belt? Adonis has to go through him to get the belt. And I think that would be
okay. So
cool.
if you did something like that, then it makes no sense of why. What was his name? The champ that was in I
don't know. I just said I don't remember his name.
Okay. If he was going to fight Drago's son, there was no reason for him to fight Adonis.
Okay, I got you. I understand.
Because if he's a champ over there, that fight made more sense to fight another champion than to fight him based on the name.
And okay, all right, well, moving on. Anyway, Sylvester Stallone says that he will throw a punch Drago's way. Is this going to kind of mirror, not that Mickey did, but, kind of mirror Clubber pushing Mickey into the heart attack, basically, and this is how Rocky dies?
Don't ruin this franchise for me. Don't ruin this franchise for me.
All right, my question to you in all honesty is, do you think that Sylvester Stallone, regardless of the past, regardless of what he's directed in this franchise, do you think Sylvester Stallone can capture the raw, the grittiness, and the urban feel that Coogler did for Creed? Do you think he can do that for Creed 2?
No.
I don't think so either.
It's gonna be. I hate to say it. It's gonna be more of the '80s feel that we got before, because that's just how he directs his.
But that's what made Creed good. It made it very different.
Yeah.
But it's remained in the universe.
I
think you're right.
We might get more drama out of it, but I don't think he's gonna give us the. I mean, it gave us, like you said, it gave us more of an urban feel. It gave us more of an urban look, and dealing with somebody who was abandoned. It was like, I don't think he's gonna direct a film that way. It's gonna be more of a relationship between. I think we're gonna focus more on the relationship between him and Rocky, and then them focusing on what he wants to do with his career, and Rocky being old and blah 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 blah.
Wow, that's gonna be pretty interesting. I can't wait. It's more likely gonna be out in late 2018 or 2019. So that's gonna be coming out pretty soon. Disappointing sequel that was this summer. One of the disappointing sequels that came out this summer was Alien Covenant.
Yes.
For you, I liked Alien Covenant. You did not like Alien Covenant, but it's all right. Agree to disagree. Covenant was supposed to be a step up from Prometheus. In a lot of ways, in my opinion, it kind of was a little bit of a step up from Prometheus.
Right.
Okay? But it just wasn't what everybody really wanted. They wanted.
No, they tried to do what everybody wanted. They wanted it. Everybody wanted an alien. So so he gave them what they want. This is what happens when you don't know what the hell you want. He gave you what you want and did away with the story he already set up. He gave you exactly what you wanted. And I was disappointed because I wanted to know more about the story.
Like when the Turtles actually fought Krang and y'all didn't show up to watch that.
They didn't show up to watch that.
Anyway, xenomorphs were present. Other different kind of aliens were also present in the Covenant, but not as much as in the originals. And it really didn't do what it should have done. Mm-hmm. Now Ridley Scott stated that the new Alien movie will deal more with androids and artificial intelligence and no xenomorphs. Is this the right move?
No! No! If you wanted to go this route, then that should have been your second movie. You should have never said, I'm going to do whatever the fans want because they're buying the tickets.
Fan service.
I
think you're right.
I think you're right. This movie's going to... Wait, hold up.
Because it's almost like you deal with, the creation of life and all that good stuff with Prometheus. That's pretty much the theme of the movie.
Right.
And then you kind of go into an evolution with Covenant, and then to go even further, or would it make more sense to evolve to artificial intelligence and then aliens?
Okay, so basically he's gonna impregnate all the different colonists that were still in the ship, and then never let them out. And then what happens to them? We're just David the rest of the movie? Is this David another movie? It was hey, this random android showed up on a colonist ship.
David, Covenant.
Exactly. It was like, he still got all the colonists locked inside the spaceship. We don't know why, he won't let them out, but we're gonna sit and have a whole movie conversation with him about what he was doing. How you been? How was that planet?
Is the Alien franchise dead?
It's dead. It's dead. We're all gonna see that next movie. Well, we're not gonna see that next movie because obviously we didn't all see Covenant. We're all gonna see that next movie, and when it doesn't do well, that'll be it. We'll never get another movie. And Sigourney Weaver, if you're sitting back waiting for your movie to come,
it ain't.
It ain't. All right. Show up at Comic-Con.
Covenant grossed $239 million worldwide, but it wasn't enough to get a solid green light from Fox because they're still weary on the whole franchise
with that story.
Dark Universe. Dark Universe, I was really excited about when it first came out, and it just bombed so badly with freaking Mummy. I really thought that. Forget it. Anyway, Universal was also pumped for the start of the Dark Universe. After the Mummy failed, plans are starting to change now.
Oh God.
Okay. The first casualty
Can we add back in Dracula?
The first change is Bride of Frankenstein is off the freaking slate.
Who wanted to see that?
Universal has pulled the plug on Bride of Frankenstein.
Nobody wanted to see Bride of Frankenstein. They only did one Bride of Frankenstein back in the 20s and stuff like that, or the 30s, or whatever that damn movie came out. It's like they only did one back then because it wasn't a good idea back then.
It was probably, but they also had Boris Karloff playing Frankenstein, so that was kind of like a selling point there for that. And then
like a Scooby-Doo mystery is what that movie was.
It was supposed to be released on Valentine's Day of 2019, and it was going to star Javier Bardem and Angelina Jolie as the bride. Javier Bardem was.
So this was gonna be it was gonna be both of them together.
Yes,
in the
it was gonna be both of them.
Oh yeah, I do remember the casting. Mm-hmm. It's like it was kind of interesting with the casting, but it doesn't need Bride of Frankenstein.
But now the way it looks like is, they're not trusting they're not trusting this universe right now.
Yeah.
So they're pulling the plug.
They're gonna scrap it again and start all over.
The deals are not even finalized between Bardem and Jolie. So it looks
Early
like
castings don't mean anything to me.
It looks like Angelina Jolie is backing out, and director Bill Condon wants Gal Gadot to play the Bride of Frankenstein. Is that good casting?
Well, they're milking it because she's hot right now. Well, I mean, she's hot, but they're milking it because everybody wants to do something the same way they did with what's her name from Suicide Squad.
Robbie?
Yeah, well, Margot Robbie. It was like because she was the hot commodity at the time. So it was like, hey, let's throw her in every movie we can think of because people are gonna come out and come watch her. So now it's Gal Gadot. So let's throw her in every movie we can think of because everybody's gonna come out and come see it. So,
except Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Except Keeping Up with the Joneses.
And she was in a bra on that one.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's early casting. They can throw out as many names as they want to. If they don't have anybody signing or not in production, what does it really matter? Because the film may never come out. It doesn't matter who they casted for it.
So
I don't believe Venom's actually.
What are the steps that Universal has to do to get this dark universe like back pumping up and get
better scripts?
Better scripts or better casting?
I don't think it's the casting's fault. I mean, did you really think there was a problem with the casting?
I think that there was a problem casting Tom Cruise in The Mummy. Yes.
They put him in there.
He was bigger than the Mummy.
Well, yes.
He needed to be the Mummy. True. He needed to be the evil in the freaking And Tom Cruise is Lestat. He can play evil.
But he's short. He's very short. So that what you want your Mummy to be?
So he's gonna be
exactly. Ooh, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. That's why they couldn't make him. And technically, they kind of did make him a mummy by giving him the powers that he couldn't die.
But regardless, forget it. Okay, what about this? Okay, now you already see how good it has done.
How good it did
as rated R movie, right? Would you
make it rated R?
Would you think that?
I think it would make it more interesting. But they're trying to make this available for everybody, just like the original Universal monsters were. So why would they go horror? Why would they go true horror?
To, like you said, to mix it up and make it different.
But then they can't hire big name actors.
Good. That's not what they need. The characters are more important.
So you're talking to a studio that says that we need big names to get people in the butts in the seats to come out and see it. And yes, before you go down its road, that there was no big names in that movie. Let me and all the money that it made. But that's what they're thinking. They're thinking big names bring money in, and that unknown people, they have to do smaller budgets. That would give them an opportunity to do rated R, but you limit your audience of who's going to see this.
Do you think that people?
And I say that knowing how many people saw it.
Do you think that everybody was out freaking saying, "Oh man, I gotta go see that new Bill Skarsgård movie," or did they say, "I need to go see this new Pennywise"?
But it had a built-in audience.
Exactly my point.
King.
The character is more.
What's a built-in audience for the Bride of Frankenstein? Tell me that audience. Who over here is
Frankenstein? Is the freaking he's the main guy. Aspen.
You know what I think they should remake?
What's that?
The Blob.
They are remaking The Blob.
They are?
They've already remade it before.
Great movie, Kevin Dillon. Awesome movie.
Actually, I just watched the remake of Blob last night.
Well, critics may have hated The Mummy, but another movie that critics just loathe, actually they like, the audiences loathe, is Mother.
Oh.
Dan Aronofsky, whatever his name is. Sorry, the movie gets so Aronofsky. Did I say that right? Darren Aronofsky. Anyway,
sure.
The director of Black Swan did this movie with Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem, and it was completely mixed. Critics loved it. Fans hated it because really it was very confusing. We talked about it when it first started coming out, and we said that it had a Rosemary's Baby vibe and all this other good stuff, right? Well, when it comes to the theme of the whole movie, you have things of that's related to Mother Nature, things that are related to the Bible, and all this other stuff. And audiences just could not get into it so badly right now that CinemaScore has it as an F.
Wow.
Okay. Well, one director is defending this movie, and that's director icon Martin Scorsese is defending it, and he's actually coming out and saying that. Because he came out and for the Hollywood Reporter, and he wrote a column, kind of like a guest columnist, for the Hollywood Reporter, and he defended the hell out of this movie.
Okay.
Basically saying, and slamming Rotten Tomatoes, by the way, slamming them pretty bad. Pretty much saying that they rate movies like horse tracks rate horses.
By how fast they go?
Just, there's no real substance to their rating, basically, is what they're saying.
I don't understand that analogy. I don't get that analogy, but okay, we'll move on. It's like, so he's saying that they're not looking at the complete substance of the movie. Right. It's like if
from an artist standpoint.
Not everybody is an artist.
Not everybody that watches it is an artist.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's talking about it as an artist.
Okay, but so you're saying like, by the way, as he says this, Rotten Tomatoes, they don't have reviewers. These are everybody's reviews. They take it's basically they take a consensus of all the reviews that are out there, and did you give it a 5? Would you get, as long as you got a 3 or better, then it's fresh. So everybody didn't like this movie. I am sorry. And Hollywood Reporter, they did a review on it too. So what is he complaining about? So did they give it a 5?
Maybe they did. I think that would be kind of stupid for an editor to have Martin Scorsese write a guest column and Martin Scorsese, and then they didn't like it, and they're like, don't tell them that Marty we gave it a 2. We gave it a 2 and we gave it the finger.
But I mean, it's like everybody looks at Rotten Tomatoes like they have 5 reviewers that go back there and it's like they control the fate of every movie. They do not. It's a consensus of all the other reviewers out there who write the same reviews, if they were on Rotten Tomatoes or not. They see the same stupid reviews are out there. They just put them together and say like, here, instead of going to paper to paper to paper to paper to paper to read these reviews, they're all right here. And then we took all reviews, we gave a total score of everybody's reviews, and if it was 3 or better, it's fresh, and if it was 2 or less, you only need to get to a 3. And if your movie can't get to a damn 3, it's a bad movie. That's it. You gotta get 51%. That is it. 51% gets you a fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So people who complain about Rotten Tomatoes, they're stupid. It makes no sense, and I feel bad for Rotten Tomatoes for having to eat all that fucking bad negative press and all the flack from freaking directors and stuff like that because their movie didn't get a fresh. Now, if their movie had gotten a fresh, Rotten Tomatoes would have been great.
Absolutely, I agree 100% with you.
Sorry.
But he calls Rotten Tomato insulting, and he says that their reviews and all this other stuff has nothing to do with the creation of the movie. So he's basically,
by the way, they don't review anything.
As an artist,
they don't review anything.
So
they don't review anything.
Now, obviously, I haven't seen this movie. You haven't seen this movie.
I've seen this movie.
But from a director standpoint, who's probably one of the most credible people out there in Hollywood, do you think he has a point from the artistry standpoint?
No.
Alrighty then.
Not at all. Look, I understand, like where you create something, it's your baby, and people don't put out bad. It was like, I'm not writing a bad movie. When I wrote this movie, I expected it to be good. I put my heart, my soul, and whether I was doing it for money or whether I was doing it for passion. And a lot of people do things for passion, so I totally get it. So I understand when people don't see the work and what they were trying to bring to screen. I totally get that. But it doesn't mean that your movie was good. It just means you care about it. That's all it means.
Jared Leto agrees. I couldn't say better than myself. All right. Moving on with WTF News. Now, this is actually pretty sad. You know, we've had a bad week, especially when it comes to gun violence with the tragedy in Vegas and all that. Prayers out with you guys. But even more so, not even Hollywood is safe. 2 teens went to the Equalizer 2 set, the set of the Equalizer 2 with Denzel Washington.
He killed them.
And they shot up the set. They shot 2 security guards. They shot and wounded 2 security guards for the set. Both were 18 years old. They were charged with assault with intent to murder, unlawful possession of a firearm.
Did they not like the movie?
The movie ain't even out yet. Did they not like the series?
Why would they? Why? Look,
it's because the Equalizer is an old crusty white man, not Denzel Washington. Is that what it is?
You know, to be honest, I would not put it past people for that to be the reason for them to do.
That would be awful.
Like it would be. It's awful for them to do it anyway. For somebody got hurt for them to do this, but it makes no sense. I mean,
zero.
Who saw the Equalizer with Denzel Washington?
A lot of people. I heard those.
Did they see Boy, More Than Mother?
Yeah. Shoot up the mother said, how come you? No, I'm just kidding.
That's awful. Scorsese talking about the unjustly reviews that Equalizer 1 got. But no, this is a horrible. I mean, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as the tragedy that just happened in Vegas. But it starts to show a trend of people not really caring about life anymore. That they would just go and do stuff like that. And we worry about a lot of terrorism coming from outside of the United States.
What about inside?
Domestic terrorism.
Yeah, what about within?
Worry about.
Exactly.
Let's worry about that stuff. So, I mean, I'm sad that it happens. I'm glad that not more people got hurt or injured or even killed. But the fact that this still keeps continuing to happen is really sad.
Really, and what's pretty bad about this too is that they get they get tried and all that or whatever happened with them legally, and they actually have the balls to say that that they were upset that they got such a long sentence. I'm like, dude, you could have killed 2 people.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you? Millennials, I tell you.
People don't want to take responsibility for their stuff. Yes, we were talking to you, Asma.
Denzel is yet to make a statement on the incident, so more than likely that's going to be coming out pretty soon. I mean, but he's the star of the.
I guess he has
to say something, but. You know what? The guns topic and all of that has been a topic for a very long time, even before any of the tragedies, especially Dark Knight and all that. Right. Way before then too, but it keeps getting worse and worse. I hope we figure it out. And you know what? But I was thinking too, and I don't want to get too much of a tangent or anything, but I was thinking too, are guns really the problem, or are people up here the freaking problem? Because I can use a freaking pen. I need a pen to freaking stab somebody in the freaking face.
John Wick?
You know what I'm saying? And does this mean we're gonna have a pen outlaw? Or outlawed pens?
How many people got stabbed? Does John Wick have the pen? Then we might need to outlaw pens.
So I don't know. I think people really just need to get a little bit more.
No, it's definitely it's definitely people. It's just that because these people aren't right in the head to give them something to where they have the ability to take lives as easily as they do, it still puts some responsibility on gun laws. That's what people are complaining about. The gun laws are not strict enough to prevent people that are mentally ill or just people who don't care about life in general to not have access to these weapons.
So if you guys are having these bad thoughts, get help, please, okay? Because we don't need you to be hurting yourself or anybody else.
Definitely.
We love you. Parents, take us home.
All right, so as always, when we have these 2-week gaps from Manny and Aspen being here, we like to make sure you guys comment below, talk to them, give them a reason to show up next week and do a show, so that way I'm not here by myself doing shows. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, so that way you can let me know about how you feel about the videos at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, like some of our other commenters do.
Which was freaking hilarious, by the way.
That's all I got.
All right, for Aspen in the back and Art wherever he's at, I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence. He's watching soccer.
And that was the goods.
Terrence was the Equalizer too.
Yeah, Terrence, that's pretty freaking awesome.
All right, what's next?